Welcome to the My Curious Colleague podcast with me, Denise Vinieri. I am a 20-year practitioner in the consumer engagement space, having worked for two large CPG organizations. My intent here is really to share best practices with particular focus around the specialist and analyst roles, and to give back to this great community because CPGCX rocks. Hello, my curious colleagues. This week, I'm curious about what the Consumer Affairs Industry Group, known as SOCAP, has planned for 2025, and I would love to hear it straight from their board chair. And to help me do just that is my colleague and SOCAP 2025 board chair, Nicole Nutile. Welcome back to the podcast, Nicole.
Thank you so much for having me again, Denise. It's always a pleasure to be here with you and your audience.
Aw, that's nice. Hey, folks, you all may remember Nicole from her episode last year on her leadership role on Wiley's Green Group, an employee resource community. So do check out episode 107, Curious About Getting Green at Work, if you missed that one. That's my last plug. We have a lot to get into, but first, can you share a little background on SOCAP, just a refresher what it is and what your vision and or platforms are for 2025?
Yeah, for sure. So I want to start by saying SOCAP, a lot of colleagues in the industry don't know what it is. It's the Society of Consumer Affair Professionals. And I think it's really important to call that out because, SOCAP, people, who haven't been in it don't always know, but that's really what it is. It's been my professional hub for the last 13 years. And over that time, I volunteered in many of the local chapters and regions, eventually joining the national board of directors and then the executive board. SOCAP really serves as the key networking community platform for customer service trends, those who want to connect and stay on top of what's going on in their world, especially in the CX world. So we connect the top CX leaders from renowned brands and consumer packaged goods industry, so CPG, retail, automotive, and travel. And I think with today facing rapid technological advancements, we're always worried about brand loyalty, right? Concerns that we have from our consumers. And that shift back from even hybrid to in-person, that focus being on in-person events. So we have to remain relevant. I think that doing that, SOCAP has to evolve. We've been around for 50 plus years now. And that's a challenge when you have something with such rich history, how we bring that forward. So with technology being at the forefront, it's going to be essential in how we continue growing. Besides leveraging technology, I think essential to our success is going to be ensuring transparency to our membership and the leaders that support the organization. And then, of course, the accessibility that we give to our members. So that way they're getting the best, most relevant content in the market. I hope that as the 2025 board chair, this approach is going to allow our members that are with us now and that have been with us for a really long time and the new ones coming on to really take advantage of their membership.
So I think you touched on in there kind of what your platforms are. Am I correct? I think I heard transparency, right? Which is great opportunity right now, as you were saying, for folks to get to know you, accessibility. And was there a third one?
Technology, I think, is a big part of where we're going. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So speaking of which, where does specifically within technology, because AI is really just a lever in technology, although we have it up a little bit higher for some reason. Where does that fit in, or does it figure at all or predominantly with your SOCAP vision for 2025?
I think it's interesting, right? Like how many times a day now we hear AI, artificial intelligence. It's really, for me, AI is no different than when we think about when the internet first launched, right? And I always go back to that clip that it's a classic It's from the Today Show from the early 90s. And they're like, it's like Katie Couric and them. They're like, what is the internet anyway? And they couldn't figure out what the at symbol was. Was it at or
Oh,
about? And it was just great.
oh my God.
So I think what that is, 94 wasn't that long ago.
Ah,
And we're thinking about this the same way. But I think if we just embrace where AI is headed and seamlessly try to integrate it into our technology strategy, the best way that's going to serve the members and the
mhm.
organization, I think it's something that we're really excited about.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely, a great benefit of the industry group or any industry group is to learn from your peers, learn from the experts, especially as, we evolve into this part of the whole technology. All right, we covered that and that. I do want to get into the events for members in a bit, I promise, but wondering if you could at first give us a little sneak peek. As the chair, so folks may not know, in fact, I'm not even positive, what was your succession plan like to help you be the best leader you can be now in this role? And I also understand that the chair gets to select a SOCAP advisor for their year of reign. Can you tell us more about that and who and why you may have selected them? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm really fortunate to have had so much support and mentorship throughout the years from, Beth Ziff all the way to, Chris Jury, who was the 2025 board chair.
Hmm.
And he really made sure that I was ready to take on this role. Even now, he's the immediate past chair and also serves on the executive committee. He's backing the organization and supporting my vision for what I want SOCAP to be this year. I was on the board through a lot of the pandemic when the leaders, like Lisa Deal, were like she was serving as chair for quite some time because we were in this sort of weird gray area, and Marie Shubin were sort of leading the charge. And being a part of that group is just a priceless experience, and all of that helped build the vision that I have, helped build sort of ways that I see things and me as a person, my character, and I couldn't be more grateful for them. But when it comes to the advisors, I didn't know about this either until a few years back, but the incoming chair gets to appoint a non-voting member advisor. It's not mandatory, but it's definitely a fantastic opportunity. So I jumped on that when I took over as chair, and I used the SOCAP term voluntold. My incredible boss, and he's also a longtime SOCAPper, Bob Weiss, to join me, and he fully supported it. Bob's our corporate vice president of global customer service and sales support at Wiley. He's been a member of SOCAP for so long. He brings over 25 years of expertise in customer service, quality, reverse logistics, and not a lot of people know, but fun fact about Bob is he's an engineer, an electrical engineer by trade. So before joining Wiley, he really took that customer focused Lean Six Sigma, approach to continuous improvement to so many organizations that he worked for: Sony, Motorola, Samsung, Barnes and Noble, and then Google. And from Google, he came to Wiley, and he's been there since. So he's just really great, and I think having him in this advisory role is going to add value to the organization. His knowledge in CX and especially automation and AI, he's really one of the leaders in that area. He's going to help me to preserve that rich culture and history of SOCAP that we've had the last 50 years while, really embracing what the future holds.
I'm jumping into an ad right now. This episode is sponsored by SOCAP, the Society of Consumer Affairs Professionals. As the leading CX association, SOCAP is at the forefront of customer experience, trends, and innovation. Discover how SOCAP empowers its members to stay ahead in the evolving CX landscape. Join the community where members come for the knowledge, stay for the network at socap.org. That's SOCAP, SOCAP.org. Speaking of that internet, when you receive an email from SOCAP or just peruse their website, socap.org, and just peek around the events and conferences section, there are some changes, some very big changes. Can I look to you to take me through those and some background? Please.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. There are some changes. There's big changes, and I think it's really important that we get to talk about this. We have a lot of exciting things going on this year, events, but what I really want to highlight is the shift that we took 2 symposiums and we made the move to one major national conference. And I'm really excited about this. I know that the executive committee, with the board of directors support, this was not something that was done lightly. We took a lot of time and consideration and work went into making this decision. So it is happening from October 14th through 16th, and it's going to be filled with so much valuable content, top tier speakers. We're thinking bigger, better, and I think that's what the membership deserves. I think that's what our business partners deserve, right? Because we know we can't have one without the other. And I think it's important to say that there is a big announcement that's coming out about the location and all those amazing speakers. And then I want to just touch on, when we think about the impact that the organization wants to make, having a single, really content rich event was the best approach right now. It attracts more attendees, creates bigger impact, reaches a wider audience. It's going to help us really build a strong brand identity for the Society of Consumer Affair Professionals. And I think this becoming the flagship event that everyone looks forward to each year will enhance our reputation, build on that consistency, and allow for the regional events we have to have another focus, that we have our members focus on those areas as well. They're not worrying about, these 2 bigger events they have to go to. They can really use their resources and time wisely. To resources on that topic, we considered how much goes into this. Organizing 2 large conferences, let alone one, really requires significant time, money, staffing, and that sort of constant churn that, our SOCAP staff goes through. Doing one main event, having the executive director and dedicated staff, volunteer committees that help support this and get it off the ground, they can really manage resources more effectively, ensure a better experience for everyone. There are some standalone summits lined up, which usually we've seen them a part of the conferences. So I'm excited to see that. The Auto Summit is in February 11th, I believe. The Retail Summit, May 1st. And they're going to be fantastic. And I think that I will tell you the CPG Summit is going to be attached to our national conference, along with an amazing sponsor, and it's going to be another stellar event. If you went to the one last year, but having it connected to this first national conference, it's a big deal, and we're excited. And the CPG group is really robust. They have a huge impact on SOCAP's, everything, DNA. So we're excited for this. And I think that goes back to, tapping into SOCAP roots, the local communities, and just excelling in these areas is going to take this event to the next level. And they've done such an amazing job. All the steering committees, the executive director, Suzanne, and her staff at SOCAP for putting this all together. So check out socap.org to definitely learn more on the events page.
Wow. All right. I'm going to have to listen to this again just to write down some of those dates. And it sounds like soon we'll know lots of the details. Love that. I think that the reason I'm really excited about hearing about, so let's say the summits in particular, the standalone, is because I am a believer in sort of getting your head out of, in my case, the CPG cloud or consumer products goods, right? That's the company. No, I guess that's the company type that I've supported for quite a while, and check out some of these other summits. So you might be a CPGer, but maybe you check out the retail summit, because you never know what is their channel strategy, what are the consumer learnings that you might be able to benefit from hearing in, say, another category or another vertical. And using that to kind of test any hypotheses you may be having along the way, or just getting inspired. So I do suggest you think about that. If not this year, next year for sure, because it is beneficial in my humble opinion. If anyone knows us, we're both believers in participating in the industry group. We've both served on the local chapter. This is back in the chapter days. I served on the local chapter level as well as the national level for the CPG steering committee. And of course, your chair, and you're taking us through your volunteering. Let me ask you this. Why did you get involved along with having, a pretty demanding 9 to 5? And if I may share, a young family, why did you get involved? And what if someone's listening to this and they're like, oh, I want to get involved. I'm nervous about the time commitment. How could I just kind of dip my toe in it? What tips or suggestions could we give them? So that's a two-parter.
Yeah. So first, I got involved because, well, for sure, we know that SOCAP's like no other community of professionals. We care about the same topics. We service the same customers across all the different brands and industries. And ultimately, with SOCAP, it becomes not just your professional network, but sort of like a family, another family that you have to go and talk about things that are happening in your work life. And I think that's because of the years of tradition that this organization is built on. Beth Stiff, I mentioned earlier, she was my introduction to SOCAP. I know she's been on your podcast before, and Beth is just, she's a gem. And she invited me to join her and Sam at the Estee Lauder building in New York in 2012. I had started working for her earlier that year. And I think the rest is history. I just knew from meeting those people and seeing how connected they were and supportive of each other that from that day on, I wanted to be of the SOCAP, tapestry, the story that we're writing. And I know to the second part of your question, like there is so much going on and, we think about time, there's never enough, but I really suggest if people are going to get involved in any capacity, if you have the desire to really expand your professional network, have direct access to some of the top industry leaders out there, experts in their space, and then some of the best events, I think go for it. I always say to people who ask me about joining the board or helping out, you should just tap into the local region. We are Canada, Northeast, Southeast, Central, and West. And there's so many great people that I can link you with. Denise, I know you can, as well as SOCAP, to get you in touch with them and see what time you're willing to put into it. And if you could do something small, volunteer on one event, just ask about what's going on. But I think if you want to get out of SOCAP, it's really what you're willing to put into it. And anyone will tell you when they've invested into it and they've been passionate about it, the possibilities at SOCAP are endless. And I didn't think 12 years ago going to that event at Estee Lauder and just being sort of in awe of all these people and these amazing industry leaders that I would be here as the 2025 board chair. I wanted to be on the board as part of my own professional roadmap, what I wanted to do in my career, and to get here was just amazing. So I'm very grateful. And I think anyone who joins will feel the same way.
Wow. I am smiling so hard that my cheeks are actually, and I've got a lot of cheek are hurting me. That's a beautiful story. It really is. Were you like president of your student council or back in high school, or
No, I was not.
was leadership always your calling and volunteering? No.
Volunteering, yes, I love volunteering. I volunteer,
Okay.
on a lot of green
Yeah.
stuff, and I volunteer in my community. But no, I was an artist in all my things up until meeting Beth. So I went from a gallery to ACC premiere, and it was very interesting, the shift in life. But
Mhm.
it worked out.
Interesting. All right. Just getting to know you just a little bit better. So what I was hearing was that, hey, if you're out there and you want to get involved but scared, not scared, but a little bit nervous about the time commitment, it sounds like to me that the regions could use some help. We had a region meeting last month and got introduced to all the region members. And again, like Beth, I just called you Beth. That's a compliment. Just as what Nicole said, we can hook you up if you need that. But there's several events for each region. So you could just pick one event. Maybe it speaks to you, the topic, or you have connections that you could bring on in. You don't necessarily have to lead and deliver that one event. You could be part of the support
Absolutely.
team. Yeah, because everybody's got a 9 to 5. So, and we're humans. We could all use a little help. Okay. Well, that is a wrap. And I just wanted to thank you again for your time today to share your vision and platforms and a little sneak peek into the chair role for SOCAP. Thank you.
Thanks, Denise.
You have been listening to the My Curious Colleague podcast with Denise Veneer.